Welcome back to this new pixel array tutorial. Today we want to create a foggy forest scene. We will use geometry nodes to create the grassy floor. After that we will add some trees, some plants and the foam box. And finally we will add some lights and the fog to create the atmosphere. Let's jump right in. Here we are in a fresh Blender scene, and yeah, let's open right up our first asset, which is the tree. So let's open this one. And when we are going into the material preview, we can see that there is nothing on it. So to change this, let's duplicate, or let's select them, press Ctrl C, and we want to bring this into a new scene or a new Blender file. Copy and paste. Let's delete our cube and we can go here into the shading. And we have to add here some new materials on it. So let's do this. We have to download here the bark and the leaf texture. So let's bring in here now the, the leaves. So let's drag and drop here the leaf. And then we can link up this one here. We want to use cycles here right now. So let's change this. And when we're going into the render mode, so let's see, GPU compute, and let's change this here really quick. Okay, we can see that our leaves have no alpha, and to do this we can put this alpha channel here into this one. Now we can see that our leaves have no black surrounding, and when we're jumping back to material preview, the alpha is disappeared, but we know that that is on the right spot. Let's use the bark for our stems. So let's select the stems, new material, and we want to drag and drop this bark texture here in this one. Let's put up to the, let's link up this to the base color. And if we want to, we can put this into a bump and put this into the height and put this one into the normal. And we're having a little bit more bumpiness here going on. That is our tree here for now. Let's select these two tree leaves and stems, new material, underscore tree. Let's hide this for now, and we can save our scene. We can go ahead and open a new blend file, which will be here our hover forestiner blend. So let's open up this one. And as we can see, this is good looking here, and we can enable these two, copy and paste, Control and C for these two. And let's go back into our scene, don't save, and paste this. And as we can see, this one is really big, and to change this we have to scale these one a little bit down. So let's select them, press N so we can see here the dimensions, and let's press S to scale them down. I like to go in the X with something like 1.46. That's good here. And now we can hide our tree, select our hover, make a new material, make a new comp. So press M, and that's plant A. Same thing for the other one, underscore plant B. Let's save this and let's go ahead with the next one, which will be here the rocks grass assets. And we only want to use here these grass clump style thing. So let's select these four, Control and C, and let's go back to our main file here, press Ctrl V. And what we want to do, maybe let's go to the layout mode so we can see a little bit more, and press N, and we want to bring all the stuff into the center. So let's select these three, press 0. Same thing for this one, and this one. Now let's select all the four, and we want to press M, new collection underscore grass. And here is one thing. So in the solid mode, it's greenish here, as we can see. But when we're going into the material preview, it looks a little bit boring. So what we want to do now is make the life a little bit easier. We have here a cool texture here on this how we are thing. So maybe let's use this material for now. So let's rename this one here plant A, and this is the same material on the second one. So we can go here into the grass, and we want to use this one here instead. So bring this here on the grass, and I think that's for our scene totally okay, because we work with a lot of darkness. So let's hide this one here and save. Again, last time we want to open another blend file. That's the phone station here, and that is already everything inside. But keep in mind, when you want to copy and paste this, you have to select all the stuff, all the childs here of our phone box. So let's select all the stuff, press Ctrl and C, and we want to go back into our record scene or in your scene file. Let's paste this phone box by Ctrl and V. Let's put all the stuff here into a new collection, because it's a little bit easier to handle this later. So select all the stuff, new collection, and we want to rename this to phone box. Now we are having all the stuff for our scene. First thing is now we want to create a plane. So let's press Shift and A, plane, and bring this to 35 by 35. And now we can go ahead and create here our floor with the grass. So let's bring in here a new cube or something else, GN grass, because we want to use geometry nodes here for this one. So let's hop into geometry nodes. Let's hide this window here. And now we want a new one, geometry nodes and grass. Okay, we want to bring in here now our grass collection. So let's bring this one in. We need a grid. If you don't know how to enable this menu here, Shift and A, it's the menu for everything. So, and then search. Now we want to use instance on points. And now let's have some fun with this one. So first of all, we don't need this line here. So let's cut this off by pressing Shift and the mouse button. And now we can press X. Okay, let's bring in the grid into the mesh and the collection into the instances, and the instances to the geometry. Let's set up this grid. We want to use here 50 by 50. We want to use 100 by 100 in the vertices. Okay, and as we can see here now, this looks not so interesting because on every point there are 4 of our grass instances here, or grass meshes. To change this, we have to select your separate children and pick instance. That looks a little bit better. But now we want to make this a little bit more random. And to do this, we need a random value and change this to integer and pipe the value into the instance index. And that looks better here right now. Now you can go ahead and play with the max and min value or with the seed as you like. Okay, now let's bring in more randomness here. Let's use here the rotation and the scale. We want to duplicate this random value by pressing Shift and D and change this here to float and pipe this one into the scale. And now when we are using here these min and max values, min is the smallest number, which will be 0, and I want to change this to 0.3, and we can leave the max value to 1. Now let's go ahead with the rotation. I want to duplicate this one again and change this to vector and bring this here into the rotation. And now we can play a little bit with these settings. So I like to go ahead with minus 0.3 by 0.1 by minus 4.9, but these settings are up to you as always. 0.20 and minus 0.3. Yeah, and to offset the whole stuff, we need another node, which is a set position node. So let's search this one here, set position, and put this between the grid and the points. And now, as you know, we need a lot of random nodes. So let's search here for a new one, random value. And we want to use here float vector again and pipe this one into the offset. And now we can change the min value to 1, 0.8 and 0. Let's go ahead with minus 0.6 by minus 0.7 by 0. Okay, that's our floor here for this one. Let's go ahead here now with the scene. So let's go to the layout. I want to change here the color of the plane or the material. So this is a really quick one. Let's jump into the shading. New material floor. And I want to change the base color here to something greenish. I want to use here this hex value. Maybe let's increase here the roughness because we don't need any reflections, and turn the specular down. Let's jump here into the layout mode because we can go ahead now and create the scene here. I want to bring in here the camera position first. So when we are changing our stuff, it's a little bit better to see. Now let's go with 12.9 by minus 9.3 by 2.3. Let's rotate this to 92.5 by 0 and 40.6. Let's change the focal length to 25. And now we can make a second view here. And I want to change this here to render now. Now we can go ahead and bring in all our assets. So I want to start here with a foam box. We have to do here right click on our collection and bring in an instance to scene. And now we want to put this to 2 and leave it here on the 2. That's okay. Maybe I want to bring in here the viewport Passport 2, so we are only seeing this here. Hide the light here for now. And now let's go ahead here with the trees. So bring in here a new instance. Let's start here with the first one, which is on 0 by 10. And we have to scale this one a little bit up. So let's go ahead with 1.605. So it's a little bit bigger. And now let's duplicate this one by pressing Shift and D. Let's put this one here over to minus 8.4 by 0.7. And I want to rotate this a little bit to minus 134. Okay, that looks a little bit duplicated. So let's rotate this something like this. And now we have to fill up here the scene with our trees. So let's do this again. 10.6 by 10. And maybe let's rotate this to minus 128. Next tree is minus 3.6621 and rotation is minus 237. Okay, to create a little bit more depth, we have to bring this here into the back. Here comes our last tree to minus 13.3 by 7.7. The rotation is 134. And we want to create a little bit more detail. So maybe I go back here into the material preview so we can see a little bit more. And I want to use here our plants. So let's use plant A here right now. make a new instance to scene, and I want to put this to 3.2 by 0.9, and yeah, let's scale this a little bit up to something like 1.7 or as you like. Yeah, you can always add here more details if you have more plans or stuff like that. Let's go with the second one here with 0.9 by -1, and I want to rotate this a little bit that it looks not so duplicated here. Let's go now here into the rendering so we can go ahead with some lightning. I want to change here the world color to something purplish, so let's go here with this one, and I want to use this hex code here now. Yeah, we can bring in here now a cube, which will be our fog here right now. Let's change all the dimensions here to 50, and now we can't see anything. Of course, there's no material on this one, so let's make a new one, which is fog, and I want to search here for a volume scatter and bring this into the volume. Yeah, let's put this one down to something grayish here, and I want to change the density to 0.45, and I like to go with the anisotropy of 0.5. As we can see here, it's a little bit foggy. When we're turning on here our light, you can see a little bit more right now. Yeah, maybe let's start here with the bright backlight, so we can use here our light from the beginning. Let's change this one here now to an area light, and I want to change the color to something bluish here, and let's put this into a new position, which will be -10.5, 28 by 19. Let's rotate this one to -50 by 0 by 0. Everything else is cool, but now we have to increase the power really high. Now let's go with 1 million, so we need more zeros here. We have to increase here the size as well, so let's go here with a square, and I want to change this to 16. And now we are having here this beautiful backlight which lights here our scene, and we need some more stuff here for the foreground. Let's bring in here a new light, which is an area light, and this one goes into our phone box. So maybe let's bring in this to the right spot. Let's go with 2 by 4.7. And yeah, no rotation. And I want to change this one now to orangey stuff here. So let's go with this one. And let's increase the power to 1000. And we want to go with a square, that's okay. And increase the size to 1.16. To frame the whole stuff a little bit more, we can go ahead here and duplicate our plants. As I see now, we didn't use the plant B, but you can use this. I'm sorry for this. Okay, let's duplicate here our plant A again. Now let's put the plant here right in front of our camera to frame the whole stuff a little bit more. Let's go with 12.6 by -6.7 and 0.2. I like to rotate this one to 22 by 6, and I want to increase the scale to 2. And now let's duplicate this one again to bring this onto the other side. Yeah, and let's change this here to 11.96 by -9.1 by 1.6, and rotate this to -59.4, and I like to scale this down to 0.5. Okay, now we can increase here the contrast if you want to. So let's go to the color management and increase the look to to very high contrast. So we're having here nearly a dark, really dark scene. If you don't like this, if this is too dark for you, you can go always with a medium contrast. Or medium high, something like this. I added here a little bit depth of field. So we want to use here, the focus of our object is here right now our phone box, and I used an aperture of 1 to render this out. I use here, let's go here to the performance, and I go with 256, and the render samples here for this one I used here 512. Yeah, if you like denoised stuff, you can go with this. I like it when it's more grainy, but that's up to you. After we are rendered this out, we can add here some glow. So let's do this really quick. Okay, now we are done with rendering. Let's jump right into the compositing. So here we are. Let's use some nodes, and we want to use here a viewer node. Let's make a cut, and we want to bring in this into the viewer. Let's search here for a glare. Add this here now. And now when we are doing this, we can see that's here already starting. And now we want to change this to fog glow. Turn the threshold a little bit down, and let's go here with 1.5 or something like this. That was this tutorial, and if you like my stuff, check out and subscribe to my channel. If you want to support me, check out my Gumroad or Blender Market page. See you there, and bye.